Eric was out there, even though he's limited by thought, it seemed like it just made everything a lot easier for you. The impact was undeniable. How much does he help when he's out there?
Absolutely. I mean, he's a huge target. He's the best big man in our conference. And anytime he's out there, he puts so much pressure on defense that, it gives other guys space and room to contribute as well. Definitely.
What were you thinking going for those last two free throws? I know coming out of it, you beat your chest and you just missed two. How much pressure are you feeling there?
Well, it's pressure because you really need those free throws. So I just tried to calm myself down, just missed two, and just try to make some shots for my team to win the game.
Now the rest of non-conference, you've got games all at home at this point, which certainly none of them easy, but that's feel good to get a win on the road. Now you go home for the
absolutely. Coach stressed this game a lot because they're picked first in the conference. They're a real good team, probably a postseason team, and to get one here on the road with Eric in foul trouble, them hitting ridiculous shots, and I mean it's a great win. It says a lot about our team to be able to win these games.
Maybe there's a little more coming off that loss the other night, which was double overtime loss.
Right.
Come out on the right end of one.
Coach talks a lot about how good teams, really good teams, don't lose two in a row. So we really take that to heart and try to not let that happen.
2 years ago, Daryl Carson was a member of Salle. What did were you prepared for him coming in? It came pretty well. What did you think about just him, as a player tonight and just having been a member of your team?
Daryl was a really good player, and I know that he had this game circled on his calendar as soon as he left. I talked to him a lot. He's like a brother to me. He stays at my house during the off season, but during the game we're enemies. So he did the best he could for his team, and I tried to do the same.
Did you see anything different in his game or how he approached?
I knew he'd be aggressive. Early on, and I pretty much expected that from him. But he played really well tonight.
Were you expecting the defense out of him? I know he was the guy who came in with a reputation of being able to go off on offense, but not being much of a defensive player while he was at Salle. He came up with a couple of big steals and one there towards the end of the game to make it a game again. Were you expecting that kind of defense from him?
Not really. But, at the end of the game, when it's such desperation, he made a play. And I said I had to.
And questions for Ruben? You've seen this program go from where when you first came in, it was a really young group. You all grew a little bit together. Of course, unfortunately, last year due to the injury, you weren't able to play with all the other seniors. Now you've got kind of an odd mix. You upperclassmen and your freshmen. How do you feel it's all coming together to this point?
I think it's great. I think we have great chemistry. I think our young guys are terrific. As you saw Tariq Durham today offensively, and Sam Mills defensively is going to be a heck of a player, as well as offensively. I think we just have a real good mix of just chemistry and guys playing at the right position and just guys at the right spots on the floor where they can succeed. And because we're together, we're able to win these games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, Coach?
Ruben did a good job. Ruben, you're going to put me out of business.
Get your perspective on your team at this one going on fourth straight at home now.
If someone would have told me that Eric would play 15 minutes and they would make 13 threes, I'd say we don't have a chance. And this is a team that does some good things. It's flawed in several ways, but they've really found a way every game to compete and win some close games. And, the Oklahoma State loss in double overtime was a huge disappointment to us, but these guys are really resilient. I mean, they have good intangibles. And this would have been an easy game to lose with missed free throws and the foul trouble. The fact that we made 13 threes would have been a very easy game to lose. But the fact that we found a way, I think, says a lot about our cohesiveness and resiliency and just the kind of intangibles you need to have a good team.
Coach, what would you say about Daryl, the first time seeing him play since he left?
Well, he's probably a little stronger, more confident, but he used to just kill us in practice every day. We knew he was a great scorer. Myself personally, expected everything he did in a very positive way.
Defensively, were you surprised at all by him tonight?
Well, he made, he's a good defender, certainly. But you know, Ruben just didn't protect the ball on that play, and I think we were really careless in that situation, and Darryl took advantage of it.
Certainly with some of the free throws he misplayed, Ruben didn't look as much like a fifth-year senior, but at times out there, it looked, I was thinking he was showing some of what you were probably missing.
Well, listen, it drives me crazy when people are surprised that we're doing well, because we finished in the top half of our league. You know, everyone knows kids were sophomores when they were juniors. You know, we just had, you know, the worst injuries in America. We were missing 2,900 points. And when you're missing Ruben, you're talking about, well, let's see what he did tonight. A typical Ruben game. You know, a guy except the turnovers late, but he's a high assist guy who really shoots threes. And, you know, when you lose your best shooter and your best passer, that's pretty major, especially for a team like we were last year that was kind of athletic and interchangeable and not as skilled as maybe some other teams. We really missed his skill tremendously.
And even though Eric was in some foul trouble, it seemed like when he was out of there, Steve was really made
listen,
around the ball.
Steve Weingart is one of the best stories you could ever hope for. Steve came to us as a true walk-on and played sparingly as a freshman at a Division III school. This is a kid with almost a 4.0 GPA who's an incredible person and just completely willed himself to be a good player. What you saw today, 10 rebounds from that kid, that's just will. He's one of the most special individuals I've ever coached, and he is clearly the hardest worker I've ever coached. This guy, the guys call him Cyborg because he works out 3-4 times a day, never getting tired. Oh, he runs around campus with a weight vest on in the summer, from class to class and appointment to appointment. He is, words do not do Steve Weingarten's work ethic justice, but he's wonderful in all, whether it's basketball or academics or just as a person. He is a stunningly good individual, and he was probably the biggest reason we won this game.
Coach, I know it's a different building than when you were at Maine, but does this game mean anything to you coming back to the America East, kind of where you got your start? Have any?
Well, I love the America East, and the only 2 times I beat BU was when we had the Dart and Fox together, and we really had a special team. So I got my head kicked in here over and over and over again, and I sure didn't want to go back to the roof. I mean, I just had the worst memories from there because of losing so much there. And this, of course, is a spectacular building. So, you know, if I was back in the roof, the memories probably would have been more negative, but it was nice to go into a beautiful state-of-the-art facility like we played in today.
Coach, excuse me if this is repetitious, but you know, with all due respect, you know, the first half, just appreciate those most of the way, but you guys can put the ball in the ocean, you know, and so on. And you know, I'll be honest with you, you know, you got it up to 38 feet, and thinking, you know, it's one time Meredith used to say, you know, maybe it's time to turn on the lights.
Well, we were up the same way against Oklahoma State. Basketball is not a smooth, even game. I mean, you know, okay, we shot 35% in the first half, 65% in the second half.
Yeah.
That's basketball. So we're going to average out to be mid-40s. People who shoot 48%, they don't shoot 48% every half. You're going to have some 30s and some 70s. It's just basketball. That's what makes it interesting. That's why you got to stay for the next 30 minutes.
That's why you're right here.
Oh.
Any other questions, Coach?
You sense the team is getting to understand also that this is indeed, it's not like you just described, not a smooth game with its ups and downs.
They are wonderful at that. They've been so resilient. So trust me, I'm like you. There's been many times that I thought we'll keep fighting, but this is going to be hard to pull out. And they keep battling and they pull it out. So, no, they're really, like I said, they're resilient, and the best thing about them, they believe they can beat anyone, and they believe they can lose to anyone. And they really believe that, and not many teams believe that. And you look at our schedule, look at the people that we've played and how we've played them, we believe we can win. And trust me, when we play some teams that aren't at the Villanova, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Missouri, Providence level, well, those teams have given us some headaches. So our guys are in a good place mentally in terms of treating every game the same, maybe better than any team I've ever coached. They truly believe they can beat anyone or lose to anyone, which is the healthiest attitude a team could have. And like I said, tonight, you look at the missed shots, they're making 13 threes, and, you know, Eric Murray playing 15 minutes, that's a lot to overcome. So we're going to have a pretty good ride home.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.